Okay, good morning, everyone. I work for the Washington Student Achievement Council, which oversees the Washington State Gear Up grant at your school. My name is Annie Pocklington, and I'm excited to be with you today for another virtual campus visit. So we have Andres here with us to talk about Central Washington University. But before I pass it off, we are going to go over a few housekeeping needs. So please turn off your camera if you haven't already. We also need you to change your name in Zoom. So you're going to use your first and last name as well as your school name. If you do not know how to rename yourself in Zoom, don't worry about it for too long. Go ahead and just drop your name and high school into the chat. I'm going to ask one more time for cameras off. And then you are muted for recording purposes. So if you have a question, you can write it in the chat and we will do our best to get to that at the end of the presentation. If we don't get to the question today, or if something comes up after this session, you can go ahead and reach out to our guest or to myself so we can assist you in finding that information. So this virtual visit series is set up for you to compare and contrast institutions based on your own personal needs. So thinking of yourself first means thinking about academics, what you might like to study, what you want your daily life on campus to look like, housing needs that are important to you, as well as the availabilities of jobs on or around campus. It also means considering cost, financial aid opportunities, and anything else that's important to you becoming your best self while attending college. So this personal reflection is, of course, of utmost importance. So make sure that you're taking notes today. You can find a guided reflection activity on our website, along with our previous campus visit recordings and dates for our future virtual visits. To explore all of the institutions across Washington State, including technical schools, two-year colleges, and four-year colleges, you can check out this interactive map by Wakan. I will drop both of these links in the chat once I pass things off to our guests today. But first, a big picture overview of Central Washington University so you can begin situating yourself in your reflection today. So Central Washington University is located smack dab in the middle of the state in Ellensburg, Washington. It's about an hour and a half from Seattle and 2.5 hours from Spokane. Central Washington University is a public four-year university. And it's also what we consider a large institution with over 10,000 students. So now that you know the basics, I'm going to pass it off to Andres, our Central Washington University expert.
Thank you, Annie, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for tuning in today and to get an opportunity to connect with me, but also learn more about Central Washington University. So my name is Andres Moreno. I work as the Associate Director in the Office of Admissions, and I'm truly excited to share not only my knowledge with you all, but also be there to support you as you start embarking in the college exploration process. I'm excited to hear that you all are starting early, so it's never too late to start planning for college. I was also one of those students that was trying to be as much as proactive as I could to look at options after high school. So it was definitely an interesting scenario for me as a first generation college student. I certainly had some barriers to overcome, but I am really excited that you all have the support and resources from Gear Up. They're definitely a premier, I think, program that is really aligned to help you achieve any steps beyond high school. It certainly did a lot for me when I was a student, and I heard of Gear Up, and I was like, hey, how do I get involved? How do I get support? So it gives me great pleasure to be here today. I do want to start off by showing you all a video, so I hope this video transpires well through the virtual setting. And also afterwards, I plan to utilize a slide presentation for those of you that want to take notes, feel free, but I'll also include this PowerPoint afterward so you all can access this. So no need to, take screenshots. So let me go ahead and see if I can cue the video I want to show you all. Let me see here. All right, so you could all see my screen, I hope. Great, let me go ahead and play this quick video. It's an aerial view of Central Washington University. As Annie had mentioned, we're smack center located in the state, center of the state, a lot of great possibilities for you all. But let me just show you a glimpse of campus. I know right now we do not offer campus tours at the moment, but we are offering virtual experiences that would allow you to see the campus from a virtual perspective. So let me go ahead and cue the video, and I will start there. All right, so hopefully that gave you a little taste of our campus. We have over 380 acres in lovely Ellensburg, but as I mentioned before, we will be doing our best to portray and convey the campus to you from a virtual world. So once again, I'd like to remind you, if you want to go on a virtual campus tour, we have those available every day, Monday through Friday, led by students. So certainly something to tune into. And I've also included a link if you want to watch this video again at your own leisure, okay? So now let me go ahead and queue up my slide deck I have for you all. This will allow us to give you an overview of Central Washington University. I know, Annie, thank you once again for doing that great introduction. I really appreciate that. But can you all see the screen well with my slide deck?
Yeah.
Great. What you'll notice, first of all, is there is a QR code in the bottom right-hand corner. This is a great opportunity to get you folks to sign up on our mailing list. So if you're curious and you want to receive information about Central Washington University, we encourage you to scan that QR code with your smart devices. That'll take you to a web page where you can then include information to let us know about your interest. So you'll see that later. So go ahead and take a sec to scan that. But I'll continue giving you a little bit more information about the campus. I know everyone's wondering, hey, what the heck's going on around COVID this time of year at Central? Well, just to give you some knowledge, we did start classes earlier this year than usual. Classes are definitely going in session. We brought in about 1,600 students to live on campus, whereas before it's typically about 4,000. So we did reduce the number of students just for safety precautions and to ensure that they will actually be, spacing in terms of the dorms, and also classes are being offered. However, in terms of classes, folks, 70% of our classes are offered online, whereas the other 30% are in classes. So once again, we're taking those precautions to ensure that safety protocols and social distancing are in place. This may change from quarter to quarter. So fall quarter started off with 70% online, 30% in classes. This will certainly change depending on the epidemic or the pandemic once again as we go through the school year. But classes are being held at Central Washington University. Now, Annie did a great job highlighting the location. In fact, we are really, really pleased that we call ourselves, hey, right in the center of the state, because you can never be too far from home. You're always close to home, especially for those of you that live on the west side of the mountains. Hey, it's an hour and a half to travel from Seattle to Ellensburg. For those of you maybe tuning in from Spokane area, hey, 3 hours away from Spokane, so it's a really short, well, not a short drive, but it's a nice drive to get there. And of course, some out-of-state students from Portland, it's about 4 hours away. One of the great things I like to highlight is, hey, we have over 300 days of sunshine. So if you, the type of student that enjoys the sun, this is certainly a great place to not only experience sunshine, but the 4 distinct seasons. So you may ask, well, why is Central such a good location for me or a fit? Well, honestly, there's various reasons why Central. Well, one of them is definitely location. Many of you who already are exploring colleges, this certainly should be a factor as you're, exploring universities and colleges. Hey, where are we located? Well, we are nestled once again right in the center of the state. A lot of great outdoor activities, recreational activities. Our downtown is also very historic. I don't know if you know this, but at some point in time back in, the 1800s, Ellensburg was actually going to be considered for the state capital. So certainly a lot of history behind that, and a lot of different activities you can do in downtown. We have about 12,000 students overall, but we still have an average class size of 25 students. So this allows you to definitely connect with your professors and also get those resources that you may require for undergraduate research, for perhaps letters of recommendation. Many of you may be already thinking about internships, maybe you're thinking about studying abroad. Well, hey, those opportunities are available at Central, and who most to ask for those resources than a faculty or a professor? So teachers are accessible, and you will certainly not feel like a number. I guarantee you that, as soon as you hit that second week and third week of classes at Central in a regular year, of course, students will know who you are and your professors will actually know your name. Now, academics are certainly another element that many of you have in mind. I know that most of you are probably have a second or a third, or excuse me, a first or a second major that you wish to pursue. Well, Central offers over 135 majors, and these majors offer anything from real world experiences where you can conduct research, you can also publish research, and have an opportunity to present it. Every spring at Central Washington University, we offer what we call the Source Symposium. This is a symposium where you can actually present your research, not only in front of your peers, but in front of professors who are often, advocates or mentors that are helping you with your research. I really hope that you folks consider the different academics, because at Central, we offer anything from business, so that's one of our top majors this year, offering specializations in business administration, marketing, supply chain management. We also have a phenomenal program in personal finance, sports business. The list goes on. Education is definitely a premier program at Central. In fact, 18% of teachers in Washington State have CWU credentials. So if you're looking at elementary education, secondary education, Central has a plethora of different specializations for you to pursue your educational credentials. Not to mention music, over 20 ensembles at Central Washington University. In fact, this year we started a mariachi ensemble. So if you love mariachi music, maybe you don't know what that is, it's Mexican, right? Music, folklore music. We offer a lot of great ensembles throughout our music program. Last but not least, the sciences are a big piece. You may have heard of the acronym STEM: science, technology, engineer, or math. Well, those are big programs that a lot of universities are amplifying. And at Central, we certainly have anything from physics, biology, mathematics, programs in engineering that can suit you well. We also want to cover some unique majors. So I forgot to mention ITAM. For those of you looking at information technology and administrative management, a way to explain ITAM is actually you are managing a software. Many of you are familiar with a lot more softwares like Zoom, right? It's a virtual platform, or even YouTube. Well, yeah, if you want to manage folks that are operating those systems and whatnot, yeah, those are considered an ITAM sort of spatialization. So you can consider those. You're not building anything in terms of code or building a program. You're managing it, okay? Some unique majors that I also want to highlight include aviation management, paramedicine, actuarial science. So this is for folks who want to, who love math, who like to predict risk, who like to predict models of risk. So actual science is the way to go. Construction management is a great program at Central. In fact, 85% of students who finish that degree have a job waiting for them at the end of their studies. Global wine studies is another unique one. Craft brewing is also a unique one. So I don't know if you heard of this, but 60% of the United States hop supply, and hop is an essential ingredient in brewing. 60% of hops actually come from Washington State, the Yakima Valley. So we certainly have a unique place here in Central Washington where you could actually be right there in the hop fields, but also in the scientific labs, brewing, or at least learning the business aspect of brewing and also the science behind brewing. A couple more. Sports management is another big one under business. And then, of course, apparels, textiles, and merchandising. So if you are interested in the fashion industry, the apparel industry, this is a really cool program for you to consider. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Applying to Central. So this is a big one for you all. Many of you may not be, at the time in your high school in your high school setting where you will be applying quite yet. So many of you, I understand, are sophomores, perhaps going into your junior year soon. Well, for you to consider Central, one of the things I want to highlight is we look at what we call the college academic distribution requirements. So those are the requirements on the right side of the screen there. We want to see at least 4 years of English under your belt when you finish high school, 4 years of mathematics. These math areas include algebra, geometry, algebra 2, or advanced algebra. We also want to see a senior year math. And what that means is, folks, we encourage you all to take in your senior year, we want to see that you take a math class. So this could be anything from, business math, accounting, chemistry, in fact, counts as a senior year math, or advanced algebra, or, beyond pre-calculus and whatnot. So the point is, we want to see that you take a math class each and every year that you're in high school. Following that is 2 years of world language, anything from French, Spanish, American Sign Language, Chinese, Japanese counts as a world language. Science would be next. So chemistry, physics, biology are great examples of a science. Social sciences can also include courses like history, U.S. government, CWP, even psychology. So we want to see at least 3 years of that. And then last but not least, 1 year of fine visual or performing arts. So these are your classes that include such courses as, things like pottery, jewelry, music, choir, orchestra. So 1 year minimum. So many of you may already have these classes under your belt, or at least making progress towards those things. If not, then I would encourage you to meet with your counselor in high school and make sure that you are reiterating that, hey, I want to take the classes so I can be considered for a university. Because what I just explained to you, so the CADRs, the college academic distribution requirements, these are minimum entrance requirements for a university. These are not your high school graduation requirements, okay? So you want to make sure that you are touching bases with your counselor to ensure that you're on track for these courses. The last thing I'll mention about applying to Central is the fact that we've streamlined our application to where when students apply, if they have a 3.0 GPA and higher, hey, welcome to Central. We'll see you in the fall. You qualify for automatic admissions. There's no essay at that point. Really, there's also no review process. You get accepted automatically. And at that point, you also would want to do the application, which is online. And once again, transcripts, those you can send separately, of course. And there is a fee that we can also consider waiving. And since you folks are part of Gear Up, we can actually waive your application fee, so you wouldn't have to worry about paying that, okay? So once again, the point is make sure that you are on schedule to meet those caters, okay? And keep that GPA above a 3.0. Students who have under a 3.0 will still be considered for admissions. However, at that point, we go through the comprehensive review process. And what that means truly is that we consider other factors aside from GPA and grades. We look at your personal statement, we look at your GPA trend. At this point, test scores are optional for SAT or ACT. So we're certainly looking at the overall picture to consider students for admissions. Now, paying for college is a big question that, you may be anxious about. I know I was, as I mentioned before, growing up in the Yakima area as a first generation college student. I did not, have the resources or the money to pay out of pocket. So one thing that I certainly encourage you to do is consider the cost of a college, consider the overall expenses for universities. So at CWU, our tuition is one of the most affordables in the state. In fact, when you look at tuition and fees, you're looking at $8,421 for a year at CWU. Room and board is certainly one of those things where you have a place to live on campus, food and other expenses included. So that's about $13,269, and then books and supplies are about $900. So a grand total for you to consider Central as a university, right? You're looking at a sticker price of $22,581. That is a scary number. I mean, I tell you, I don't even have that money right now in my bank account. So it's certainly one of those things where you want to start figuring out, hey, what are the resources out there that I can actually utilize to help offset these expenses? Because truly, students at Central Washington University use a multitude of resources to help pay for school. In fact, at Central, 80% of our students receive some form of financial aid. So when you get to your junior year, summer of your junior year, you want to start looking at applying for FAFSA, okay? The free application for federal student aid. Students who may not qualify for the FAFSA can also apply for state aid through the WASFA, the Washington Application for Student Financial Aid. So multitude of services include grant money, which is free money. In other words, you can also be considered for loans. So these loans are definitely a good debt. I like to call them as good debts because these will be low interest in some cases no interest at all, where you can obtain those for school. Work study is also another program that you can qualify for through FAFSA, where the employer receives wages from financial aid, and then the other portion comes straight out of the employer's pocket. So it's almost subsidized wages, but we have work study opportunities at Central. And last but not least, scholarships. Scholarships are certainly a way to really offset those high costs. There's a multitude of scholarships available at Central called Scholarship Central, or merit awards. So these are based on your GPA, based on your academics in high school. I won't go through the dates, but those are certainly good things to consider as you get into your senior year. I know I have a few minutes here, but residence halls are certainly another big piece for you to consider. We do require that first year students live on campus. And so we have over 20 residence halls, a lot of great communities for you to thrive in. A lot of activities are offered throughout the year at Central. This definitely year has been very interesting because a lot of what you see on the screen there are virtual. Monday Movie Madness is virtual. Open Mic Night is virtual. But in a typical year, we have a lot of great activities that are there for you as a student. Clubs and organizations are a big thing too. One of the things that I learned as a student in college is, yes, you want to make those connections. You want to really expand your horizons, and a good way to network and do those things is by joining a club and organization. So Central has over 100 clubs and orgs that you can be a part of. And also, if we don't have a club, you can actually start your own. Hey, for those of you athletes, we definitely also offer NCAA Division II varsity athletics. I know many of our fall sports have been postponed, but we are planning to resume those, I think, in November. So even though they've sort of halted for the first 3 months, they're telling me that they will actually resume in November. So definitely something to consider as you're planning for college. I'll actually go through these slides fairly quick now. Sports clubs are also another way to stay active on campus if you don't want to be part of the varsity athletics. Intramural sports, hey, very competitive, co-ed, and they actually are lots of fun. We have a lot of great different opportunities for intramural sports. I'm coming up to the last couple slides. Support services are a huge factor at Central to thrive and to help you thrive, but also ensure that you are getting the resources to graduate in 4 years, okay? So we have a lot of services that you see in front of you. These are free, okay? You do not have to pay to get advising. You do not have to pay to get consultations from career services or even the math and writing center. Other online experiences I want to bring to your attention is Fall Virtual Preview Day. So for those of you that want to check out our virtual open house, we're doing something similar this October called Virtual Preview Day. So I'll make sure I'll send Annie the link for those of you that may be interested. This is the last slide, and then I'll turn it up for questions. So, hey, we are here to actually connect you with not only Central, but also be an advocate for you. So in other words, here is how we can help you. We are here to assist you through the application process as you're looking at Central, advocate for you, so we are your best connection to Central, answer any questions about requirements, housing, orientation, financial aid. If you do not know the answer to the question, we will certainly connect you to the expert, to the person who's there to help you with any of those things getting resolved. But we're excited to be with you today. I know that I threw a lot of information in a very short period of time, but at this point, do you have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much. We do have a few questions for you. So how many general credits do you need before you can declare a major at Central Washington?
Great question. We generally want to see you declare a major before you reach the 90 credit mark. 90 quarter credits. So we're in the quarter system at CWU. So we typically see that freshmen earn about 45 credits their first year, and then another 45 their sophomore year. So that'll be 90. So we encourage you to declare a major before you reach the 90 credit mark. And our advisors will actually be meeting with you consistently. In fact, if you're a freshman, you'll be meeting with your advisor on a quarterly basis.
Awesome. Thank you. And we've had a few questions about degrees and programs. So what I'm going to do is just quickly drop a degrees and programs link into the chat so students can explore what Central Washington University has to offer in terms of majors and programs. And we'll link that under the recording video as well. Another question is it possible to double major at Central Washington University?
That's a great question. Yes, I know that many of you may have one or two passions, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, there's no rule against you double majoring. And at CWU, oftentimes students pursue a major, which is about 90 credits, right? And a minor, which sort of supplements anything that you want to go into. And a minor is about 25 to 30 credits, so it's more, you can intertwine it with your studies. But yeah, you can double major, no problem.
Awesome. And then are there any additional admissions requirements for specific programs, or should students just worry about getting admitted to Central first and foremost?
Yes, the first step is to certainly get accepted to CWU admissions. Once you get accepted to the university, then we will actually work with you to identify the advisor or the program that you're seeking, because some programs are competitive and some requirements do vary for each major. I'll give you an example. Music, for example, if you want to pursue a music degree at Central, those are audition based. So the first step is to apply to CWU. Once you get accepted, then At that point, you can sign up for an audition. And auditions typically happen in January, February of your senior year.
Okay, awesome. So you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about a specific program until after you got admitted to Central and were meeting with your advisor and figuring out next steps from there.
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for being here with us today, and a special thank you to Andres and CWU for all of their time and information. You'll be able to find this recording as well as our future virtual visit dates at gearup.wa.gov. Reach out to your Gear Up coordinator for any more information, and otherwise we will see you next time. So thank you all.
Thank you.